Hey guys, so my name is Carolyn and today I'm going to be doing kind of a review on my experience with working for Xanterra. Xanterra is a company that works in different national parks and they provide stuff like cabin rentals and like the food places you eat in national parks aren't government run. They're usually like contracted out. So Xanterra is one of the contractors that provides services in Yellowstone. And pretty much I've seen a lot of really negative reviews on working for them. And personally, I did not have that experience. That was like the best 4.5 months of my life to date. And I'm 21. So many cool things have happened. And like to me, I'm like, wow, yes, working is the best. So pretty much I just wanted to review Xanterra and kind of give my opinion on working for them because I feel like it's different from a lot of others that have been shared on YouTube. So pretty much how I came to work for Xanterra is I applied online. I had heard about working for them through another friend who had already done it. So I went online, I applied, I had to agree to, I had to agree to get a background check. And from that background check, after that, they, offered you a job based on what you selected. You could do like housekeeping or working in like the food and beverage industry. I chose food and beverage because I'm not very good at housekeeping, rather serve people food. So after you do all that, they email you and they'll give you like a start date and an end date. Pretty much I've never seen someone not get a job at Yellowstone because you're applying online. Like there's not an interview. Really not a whole hard way to screw it up unless you've been like convicted of a felony. And even then, like I'm not sure they'll say no. So part 2 of this experience was like registration and training. Pretty much you have to decide whether or not you want to travel to Yellowstone like on your own, if you want to bring your own car and things like that, or if you're gonna like take their provided bus transportation from the airport in the closest like really big town, which is Bozeman, Montana. I chose to drive myself halfway across the country, 3,600 miles and 5 days with my mom. But anyways, once you arrive in Gardner, Montana, Xanterra gives you your job assignment. Pretty much you have like no idea what you're doing or where you're working until you get there. I know some people they do assign like prior to, but for me, I was just kind of like driving into a blind abyss of like, what am I gonna do for the next 4.5 months? And I ended up working in Canyon Village and I worked at the deli there. Best job ever, except they actually changed the name of it. So it's not the deli anymore. They like renovated it. But 2 years ago in 2015, it was the deli. So once you get to the location that you're gonna work at, you kind of have to like find your way through Yellowstone and guess where you're going. Like I had no idea how to get to Canyon Village and I chose like, oh, I don't need a map whenever I came into the park. So I was winging it, but it's like there's 4 roads in the whole park. So it's pretty easy to get there. So once I arrived, I got all settled in and they gave me a time to come back and watch my video that I had to, do like, it was serve safe, I think. Pretty much you had to be certified that like, you're not gonna like stick your fingers in the food, then lick them and then put them back and then like, don't run with knives. So it was really easy and it took no time at all. I think it was 2 hours of watching the video and then you took like a small test, which here's one thing I will say about Xanterra is when we took the test, they gave us all the answers. So, not really sure what I was supposed to learn there. So on your first day, they assign you a dorm and you get a roommate. My roommate was phenom. Her name was Jess and she was the best person ever. She didn't know she was getting a roommate the day I got there though. So like the entire floor of our dorm was just like garbage. Not garbage, but there was stuff everywhere because she didn't have a clean roommate yet. Xanterra's dorms are actually kind of shoddy. Pretty much there's like, you can see the pipes in the ceiling and stuff, which I don't really mind. They've been there forever. I was in the Bison Dorm, which is the 21 and under dorm, because I was a baby, but I've only been 21 for a month now, so still a baby. So the dorms, they have like a men's restroom and a women's restroom and then stall toilets and then stall showers. I don't know how they have the men's restrooms because I never actually went in there. But Xanterra actually had pretty nice dorms. Their Wi-Fi was kind of crap, but what do you expect when you're in the middle of a mountain? So along with the dorms, you also got like an employee dining room food plan, which is the EDR. And basically for your dorms and your room, I think I paid about $75 every week or 2 weeks to live there, which isn't too bad because if you guys pay rent, it's super expensive to like live on your own. So that wasn't too bad. But the way I made money, I made like maybe $9 an hour. I can't really remember. It wasn't anything like substantial. So if you're gonna go work at Yellowstone, don't do it for the money. You've got to do it for the experience, which a lot of the expectations, I think, of people are they're going to go there and they're going to make a lot of money. But really, like, you can't go to Yellowstone and expect to make a lot of money. And I've read a lot of negative comments about it from Xanterra because people didn't make a whole lot of money, because that's not why you go to Yellowstone to make money. You go to Yellowstone, or you go to a national park and work for Xanterra to be at a national park and work for Xanterra. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. It matters that you're there. So my actual job consisted of scooping ice cream and making sandwiches and serving hot dogs and chili. It was honestly, I think, the easiest job you could have possibly gotten, like, that whole realm, because, you know, the people that were working in the kitchen were working their butts off, like, from night to dawn to night, and like I felt like they were always there, they were always under stress. And in the deli it was kind of like, well, no one's here, so let's organize ketchup packets. And the great thing about Xanterra was when you worked for them, they had mandatory 30-minute at least breaks. Technically, you had to take a 31-minute break, or like the person that was in charge of payroll and saw that you took less than a 30-minute break would go ham on you. Our girl's name was Brittany, and I remember her like yelling at people because they took less than a 30-minute break, because like laws in Montana, I think. I'm not really sure. Even then, Canyon Village, I think, is actually in Wyoming, so I guess it's Wyoming laws. Either way, you had to take more than the 30-minute break. They also let you schedule, like, your weekends. So pretty much, obviously, not everyone's going to have Saturday and Sunday off. That's just not how it's going to work in the food and beverage world in general. Like, you're lucky if you know what days you're going to get off the week beforehand. But it's really nice because Xanterra, you apply, I guess, for your 2 days that you could have. Like, my weekends were Tuesday and Wednesday, so that meant Monday was actually my Friday, and I knew every week that I was going to have Tuesday and Wednesday off because that was when I didn't work, unless there was a rare occasion that someone was like, hey, can you switch days off, and then our management was nice enough to let us. Another cool thing Xanterra does is when the season that you're at ends, so I was in Canyon Village, and they have the earliest to end season because they get racked up with snow a lot easier, and like it's not accessible to get up there at all. I got moved to Mammoth Hot Springs, and like Xanterra really did it in a flawless way. Like, I had a full day off to, you know, pack up my stuff and move and get the dorms. Also, the dorms in Mammoth Hot Springs, I got like the old people dorms. They had like quiet hours, but oh my God, nicest dorm I've ever had. I didn't have a roommate, so I had like this ginormous room that's like as big as my bedroom here to myself, and the bathrooms were phenomenal. Anyways, I keep getting off topic, but pretty much they'd move you to like a different job that was similar to yours. I got stuck at the Terrace Grill, which basically meant that I was like flipping hamburgers. And there's nothing wrong with flipping hamburgers at all. Like, you know, people that work at McDonald's and stuff, hey, you know, if it's your livelihood, do it. Go at it. Go hard. But it wasn't for me. It was rough because we'd have like parties of like 100 people come in, and they're like, we need 150 burgers. And I'm like, I have one arm and one spatula. All in all, working for that part of Xanterra, like the food and beverage, they really handled themselves really well. They made sure everything was properly staffed, and if there wasn't, they would pull people from other places to like help you out. And I don't know why there's so much negative feedback. I don't really think, like, I've seen a lot of stuff how they don't really treat you like people, but like to me, like the people I worked with in Yellowstone were my family. And like at the end of my employment, once my contract was up, so mine ended like October 14th, somewhere around there, I had to like go and turn in my what is it called? My apron and all of my uniforms and everything. And that was like the saddest day of Yellowstone for me. I had to turn in my employee ID, which I kept because memories, even though they charged me $25 for it. Like, really leaving Yellowstone and leaving working for Xanterra was like one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. And you can technically like apply for the next season, but I was like, I have to have a life back in Georgia. So here I am. All in all, I would give working for Xanterra an 8 out of 10 because there are some things they could work on, like dorms in certain places and things like that. But honestly, they were such a great company to work for. I'm obvious, like, I have had no contact with Xanterra really, unless I sent them like a harassing email last year that was like, when am I getting my W-2? And then they responded in a very kind manner. I was just stressed because it was the last day of January. Just wanted to clear up that working for Xanterra is not a bad experience. At least it wasn't for me, and it wasn't for a lot of people that I know. Although, like, you will have your days where you're like, Xanterra. Because everyone has those days. What's a single day you've had at your job that you're not like, screw this, I'm out of here? But you stay. Anyways, guys, that is it for my whole video. Thanks for watching so much. So if you're deciding if you want to work in Yellowstone, if you want to work for some other national park like Zion or anything like that and work for Xanterra, I highly recommend it. They also do Grand Canyon, which like some people are obsessed with working at Grand Canyon. So I can't personally recommend it, but I know a lot of people do. I'm biased and highly recommend Yellowstone. But if you guys want to work for Xanterra, hopefully this helped you out a little bit just to kind of get a feel, because I know when I was looking for information on working at Yellowstone in general, I could only find like really negative blog posts and stuff, and I had already committed to the job, and by the end I was like, oh god, I'm gonna hate my life. But I loved it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day, and I'll see you on my next video. I forgot my shameless plug, so make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and like this video and follow me on Instagram at CasuallyCarolyn. And now I'm done harassing you.